good evening. This is Angela Garrison with the Alternative Daily and our Toxin-Free Revolution monthly webinar. Welcome all of you. I want to especially welcome our new subscribers. We have a ton of new members here tonight. And then a big hello to our existing subscribers. It's so nice to see you again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So tonight we are broadcasting from my kitchen. Thought this would be a great place to do it. I'm actually gonna juice later. I'm gonna give you a great recipe and show you kind of how I like to get rid of toxins from my body. We have Jake from the Alternative Daily also here. He's not here physically. He is working behind the scenes to help better illustrate points. If you see something flash up on your screen, that's Jake doing his behind the scenes work. Just to make sure that you're getting the most from your webinar, we want to make sure we use some visuals too. You're not staring at me the whole time. So let's kick it off for basically our new members. Let's just go over some ground things if you're new, just sort of where to start. So by now, you should have logged into the members area. If you haven't done that, please go ahead and do so. If for some reason you don't have the link, just email me, Angela, at thealternativedaily.com, and I will make sure that you get it. So you should have received your free ebook, which is the 9 detoxifying superfoods to include in your diets. You should have received the Is Your Body Toxic ebook that I wrote. It's sort of near and dear to my heart. And you should have received our meal plan strategies with a few recipes to help sort of get you started. Just an update for our existing members too on the meal plan strategies. I am working on updating that. So we're going to upgrade it, and of course it's going to be free of charge, but I'm actively working on it now. So look for that to come over the next month or so. I plan on working it really in detail next week. So for our new members, you might be saying to yourself, where do I start? This is a ton of information. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm not quite sure where to start. So I'm just going to go over sort of my 4 kind of guiding principles and just how you should get started. Whenever you encounter something new and you want to make change, but you're just not quite sure how to go about it. So step number 1 will be to first set your intention. And this is so important. It's something I do whenever I sort of set a goal. First, I just sort of set my intention. So what am I expecting to do? Where do I see myself in the next however long I think it's going to take? There are short-term and long-term goals. Changing your lifestyle or eating habits, that's definitely a long-term goal. It's not something that can be done overnight. It took years to build up these habits that we all sort of have, and if we want to change them, it doesn't really happen overnight. So setting your intention, visualizing yourself in your future life, your version 2.0 of yourself, if you will, it's really, really important. So the second thing is to tell yourself that you can have anything. So instead of telling yourself you can't have something, like, oh, I can't have that bowl of ice cream, or no, I can't have pizza anymore, say to yourself, actually I can have that, right? Because really you could eat it. But just say to yourself, I can have it, but I'm going to make a conscious choice not to have it. It's such an empowering feeling, and it kind of tricks your mind a little bit to just say, mind, I know that I can have this, but you know what, I'm gonna choose not to do it. So I work in an office environment most of the day, and I have a lot of coworkers that bring in lots of treats. I have a coworker whose mom owns a bakery, so she's constantly bringing in donuts and muffins, and oh my goodness, they're so tempting sometimes. And I look at them and I'm like, yeah, I could have one of those, but you know what? It doesn't really support my lifestyle, so I'm just gonna choose not to. So you can have anything. It's just a conscious choice not to have it. So step number 3 is to focus on adding things to your life and not focus so much on the subtracting. So don't focus so much on taking things away from yourself. So don't say, oh, well, I can't have, whatever chocolate anymore. Instead, try to add something healthy in. So maybe you start this very small, okay? Don't go trying to add in too much at one time, because then your body will sort of freak out a little bit and your mind will say, no, wait, I don't really like this change. I kind of want to go back to the way things were. So just start small. Try adding maybe a glass of water every day when you wake up. Before you even have coffee, before you do anything, just try drinking a glass of water. So you're adding something in. When you're at the grocery store, instead of, buying regular carrots, maybe you add in organic carrots if you're not currently buying organic. It's kind of just start small with little tiny steps. If you try to start too big, your resistance will take over. It's that internal voice in our head that sort of controls what we do most of the time. Our little monkey mind likes to play tricks on us. So focus on adding things in and not subtracting, because as you're adding things in, things will automatically just kind of disappear and go away without you even having to think about it. It'll just happen organically, which is great. That's what we want. And the final thing is acceptance. So just kind of take a step back, accept where you are right now. This is your starting point. When you just kind of live in the present right now and not really focus on the past or where you're going in the future, just sort of accepting who you are right now, right here, because right here is exactly where you're supposed to be right now. So take comfort in just knowing that you're where you're supposed to be. You and I are supposed to be talking right now, which is really cool. Actually, I have a quote that I want to share with you. It's about resistance, and it's from this book that I really enjoy. It's called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. This is a great book for overcoming resistance, understanding resistance and where it comes from, and he also goes into ways of how to break through it, which is really cool. But this quote that I like is called, "Resistance is invisible." So resistance cannot be seen, touched, heard, or smelled, but it can be felt. We experience it as an energy field radiating from a work in potential. It's a repelling force. It's negative. Its aim is to shove us away, distract us, and prevent us from doing our work. So that's what resistance kind of feels like, and I know that we're all feeling that, especially if you're new and you're trying to make some changes. So if you have any questions about kind of where you should be starting and you're not quite sure, just go ahead and send me a note. I'm very open. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear the challenges that you're facing. I face so many challenges that I'm pretty sure I can identify with what you're going through, and I will probably have some advice of where you should start. So let's jump right into content today, because I have a lot of great things to share. I want to first start by talking about toxins in weight gain. So this is a really big topic because we are constantly hearing about the obesity rates going up, and not just in adults, but in kids too. It's really scary, and it's something that we're all facing. But the real question is why? Are we all just gluttons and sloths? And of course, that's not the answer. We're not just feeding ourselves like crazy, and we're not just all sitting around. That's not what's happening, but we're all kind of gaining a little bit of weight. And then you just kind of think, well, is that something that just sort of happens when you get older? Do you just naturally gain weight as you get older? And of course, a lot of people think that's true because it seems to happen. But what's really happening is as you get older, you're accumulating toxins in your body. And your body actually gains weight and creates fat cells to actually protect it. So right now we face more chemicals and more pollutants in our air, in our food, in our water than ever before. I mean, they are just coming at us from every direction. Toxins are just kind of everywhere. And of course your body is naturally designed to handle toxins and help move them through. The problem is we're getting so over bombarded with them, your our bodies really don't quite know how to move those toxins out effectively anymore. So what's happening is the toxins get kind of trapped in your body, and your body recognizes it as, you know, being potentially toxic, really, really toxic to your critical organs like your heart and your liver and your brain. And so your body takes these toxins and it surrounds it with these fat cells. And the more toxins you have, the more fat cells that get put around all these toxins. So what's happening when you are trying to lose the weight but can't? Because the first step in disease is accumulation. So we're accumulating these toxins, and then in the form of weight gain, and then when we go to lose the weight, we can't. We're stuck. Or we can, you know, we start exercising a lot, we start changing our diets, and maybe we lose a little bit, right? That normally happens. But then you just sort of hit this wall and you just plateau. And it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You could be running and running and running, and you could be eating all of the right things, but your body just seems to be hanging on to the weight. And the reason it's doing that is, again, to protect you. Your body doesn't want to lose the weight on purpose because it knows that it's hanging on to toxins. So what are you to do? Well, the first step you should do if you are looking to change your weight is you should first start looking at a detox program. So it's kind of the first step. So before you start changing what you're eating, before you start exercising, you got to focus on how am I going to get these toxins that are stored inside these fat cells out? Because if I don't get the toxins out, then my body's just going to want to hang on to them. So what you've got to start doing is replacing the toxins that are in those fat cells with nutrients, right? Because if you think about a cell, it's a singular space, right? If you think about sort of an Excel spreadsheet and you have all these little cells, you can only contain one value inside the cell. You can't fit sort of two different, you can't put like a dollar amount plus a percentage in one cell. It doesn't work. And the same with your body. You can't fit two things into one space. So what you need to do is start focusing on adding the nutrients in so the toxins will move their way out. And the only way to really effectively do that is through actively detoxifying and cleansing your body. And there are lots of cleanses on the market, but just be really, really cautious here because the cleanses that are on the market are just, you know, they're marketing. It's a lot of hype. They use inorganic herbs or chemicals, like harsh chemicals. The herbs that they are using are maybe not grown organically, which means they contain pesticides and herbicides and fungicides, and that's just sort of defeating the entire purpose of doing a detox, right? Because then you're detoxing, but you're detoxing with toxins. So you just need to be really, really careful. And if you need advice and you know you need a recommendation, please just come to me because I have one that I use and it's really, really good. So that's sort of toxins and weight gain in a nutshell. So there's a quote that I really love from this video. If you haven't seen it, it's called Hungry for Change. It's a really great documentary, but one of the experts in the video says that we are all overweight, but we're starving. We all are carrying around a little extra weight, but nutritionally we are starving. I really like that quote because it really just sort of hits home as to, you know, why we have the weight and what we need to do to combat the weight. So that's toxins and weight gain in a nutshell. So let's focus on things that we can do to detoxify this weight, detoxify our fat cells. What are some steps we can do? So my favorite thing to do every day is to juice. I have a juicer and I really love it. It's so easy to use. My 3-year-old actually makes my juice every morning. She gets up and I cut up all my fruits and vegetables and I just leave them by the juicer and she just puts them all in and then she makes my juice. The great part about that is because she made it, she wants to drink it. Awesome. It's a great way to get all of the veggies in first thing in the morning. So here's my juicer, and I'm actually going to make one of my favorite recipes for you. I have cut up, I washed and cut up some ingredients already, and these are all organic. Of course, I do recommend that if you have not made the switch to organic, you really should think about, slowly moving into more organic and raw foods. So I have cut up some carrots and celery, and I have some kale, which is really, really good. Kale is a natural source of vitamin A, vitamin C, and it's also a natural source of calcium. So if you are a vegetarian, this is a great way to get in some calcium. You don't really have to drink a glass of milk in order to get some calcium. Calcium is a naturally occurring substance, and you can find it in a lot of fruits and vegetables. So another thing that I have pre-cut up is a cucumber. And cucumbers are also excellent for detoxification. So I cut these up, and I have them here on my cutting board, and I'm just going to juice them. I'm going to show you how easy juicing is. This is my goal. So I'm just going to turn it on, and I'm just going to drop in my vegetables. Now juicing is really great because you're getting such a concentrated amount of nutrients to your body, and your digestive system isn't really doing a ton of work, so the nutrients are getting absorbed that much quicker. The reason I love to include cucumbers is because of the high water content, and especially the high electrolyte content. So you're getting all sorts of hydration from the cucumber, which is great for detoxification because it keeps your body hydrated and keeps things moving through. Cucumbers are also great. They contain a high amount of silica, which is great for your hair and your skin and your nails, keeping them really healthy and shiny. Oh, one other thing I have in here, it got mixed in with my kale, is parsley. I love adding parsley to most all of my fresh juices, either parsley or cilantro. Parsley is excellent for detoxification. It's almost like a multivitamin. This little green herb, it's got so much nutrients. Has things like vitamin C, vitamin A, and iron. Lots of great things. Parsley. It also helps clean your liver, your kidneys, and your urinary tract. Parsley is really, really good. Helps with, actually helps keep your breath fresh. It helps with body odor even. I mean, parsley just has so many benefits. I really recommend adding it to your juice. So I'm going to put some kale in there. Grab my fish thing in there. Then I also am going to add in some apple because it's September and we went apple picking this weekend, which is a fun activity. Apple picking is so much fun. It's one of my favorite activities that we do every year. Okay, I'm just about done. Stop. One other thing I wanted to say about juicing was it's great because it simultaneously addresses toxicity as well as nutrient deficiency. I lost the word for a second. So it's taking all of the deficiencies that you have in your body and it's replacing the toxins with them because it's such a compound amount of nutrients. It's really, really great. Still have a little bit more juice there. And if you don't have a juicer at home, don't worry about it. Next month I'm going to get out my blender and we'll discuss, I'll demonstrate a really good recipe that you can use with your blender into more of a smoothie. You'll be amazed. You can still use a lot of vegetables and fruits in your blender and come up with a smoothie. You get a little more fiber that way, which is good. But you do still get a little bit of fiber with juicing too. Especially like with the cucumber, you're still getting all of the soluble fiber. The insoluble fiber is sort of juiced out, but you're still getting soluble fiber, which is really, really good in your intestines because it helps your body absorb more of the nutrients, which is really good. So my juice is done, and I'm just going to pour it. Now this is a nice green juice because I put the parsley in there as well as the kale, so it's very green. So here you go. That's the juice. Super easy. I don't know how many minutes that was, but hopefully it wasn't too long. But yeah, so you get this nutritional juice really quick. So that's really good. One other thing I like to add too, and I didn't even think to put it on here for you, but I do normally add it in the morning, is lemon. So if you add a lemon to your juicer, just make sure you peel it first. You can't put the rinds in the juicer. So that's it for today. I talked about, so we did the overview and we did the toxins and weight gain, and then we just sort of went over juicing and the benefits of juicing and why I recommend you juice and all of that good stuff. You'll be amazed at how good that you start feeling if you start juicing. Really, really good. So next time, I think what we're going to talk about is toxins in your brain. You know, that fuzzy brain that you may get, or maybe you just feel tired, or maybe you might feel depressed. You'd be amazed at what toxins in your brain can actually, what a role they can play in how you're feeling every day, like your emotions and just how they can just get in your brain. So I'll go over why they're there and how you can get rid of them next time. So I'd like to hear from you. I am prepared to answer all of your questions. You'll see a number below, so just call in and we'll chat live, and you can ask me anything you want. So I'm open, and this has been fun. So this is Angela Garrison signing off, and I will talk to you in a couple minutes. Bye.